helping the Riverside Fire Department continue to meet its mission to protect life, property, and the environment by providing exceptional and progressive all-hazard emergency services, public education, and safety programs. Measure Z and the Riverside Fire Department. Your tax dollars at work.
Thanks to Measure Z funding, the Public Works Urban Forestry Division was able to enhance tree trimming services by speeding up the trimming cycle. The city used to trim trees once every 8 or 9 years, but we now have a new goal of trimming every tree in the city once every 6 years. That's 25,000 trees every single year. Residents who want their city trees trimmed more frequently can take advantage of our low-cost tree trimming service called Tree Care Program for City Trees. Thank you for your support, Riverside, a Tree City, USA. For more information on any of our tree trimming services, call 951-826-5311.
In Orange Empire Conference men's college basketball as the Tigers of Riverside City College get set to square off on conference leading Santiago Canyon tonight right here on Riverside TV. Hey everybody, welcome to Wheelock Gym right here on the campus of RCC. I'm Christian Miles, joined by Jeff Tolcher. Jeff, we could talk about matchups, we could talk about stats. Any way you chalk it up, these are two very good basketball teams. In fact, the top two in the conference and both aiming to take possession of first place tonight.
I think one of the more interesting things about this game is the contrasting styles. The Hawks like to put up a lot of points in their last three games. 111, 112, and 118 points scored. They're averaging 95 points per game as a team. Meanwhile, Riverside City College averaging 70 points per game and only allowing 65. These teams have already met once this season. It was back on January 15th, Santiago Canyon with a 71-63 win. So RCC was able to slow the tempo down in that game. They're going to have to look for a replicated type performance in tonight's matchup.
Well, just the third season of existence for Santiago Canyon. You talk of that game. That was the fourth consecutive victory for Santiago Canyon over RCC. And in fact, the only time that RCC have emerged victorious, you have to go back to January a couple of years ago when the Tigers emerged victorious in double overtime, 90-87. But that was a long time ago. This is now, and it means so much. Santiago Canyon coming in with a great record of 24-1. First place in the OEC with 12 wins and just one defeat, and off the back of 8 consecutive wins. RCC, meanwhile, 17-9. They come in, of course, in the second position. They've turned it on in conference play at 12-2.
And if you like three-point shooting, keep an eye on Santiago Canyon in that their last game against Fullerton. 21 of 38 from three-point range. They made 21 three-point shots as a team. So they're going to be launching it early and often. In fact, one of the keys for Riverside City College is their transition perimeter three-point defense. We'll see how they do in that category tonight.
So Santiago Canyon starts us off in black, attacking the basket to your left here in the first half. Game 2 of our doubleheader. The women just losing out to Irvine Valley College earlier tonight. But a big test for the Tigers, and on it right now is Paul Vallela, hoists it up and hits. Good start for Paul Vallela, the sophomore from Corona, who attended Centennial out there. They're a hot shooting ball club, and it's going to be traveling against RCC's Keelan Vance. They've got to take good care of the ball tonight, Jeff.
I was going to say, Vance had his best game of the season coming off the bench to score 29 points against Saddleback. He was 10 out of 16 from the field and 6 out of 8 on his three ball, so they were looking to get him going early on the first possession.
Yeah, no doubt about it. These Hawks are fun to watch. They can fly high with the best of them. We'll see what they bring. One of the toughest gyms to play in the Orange Empire. Here's Antoine Jacobs, the top scorer in Orange Empire Conference, and you see why. He gets to the rim lightning fast. He averages just over 24 points per contest and off and running early on. Xavier Ford hits one off the glass, and the answer for the first buckets of the night here for the Tigers.
That's a difficult shot. You're a right-hander and you're going to your left, shooting across your body.
And a three-point in effect, right on cue. Paul Vilela, once again, hitting his second bucket already. And off to that hot start. It's typical Santiago Canyon fashion, that's for sure. Only loss coming back early last month, and they lost by 6 at Fullerton on January 13th. Turnover as that pass was intended for Amir Davis. A little wild there from Xavier Ford. They can ill afford to turn the ball over against such a great offensive team as the Hawks.
Riverside City College this season only turning the ball over 13 times a game, which is actually a pretty respectable number. Of course, you're facing the top team in the conference and likes to shoot the three ball. You're going to have to take care of the basket.
I'll leave it outside for Jenkins. Well, not only are they the best attacking team, most lethal offense, they also have the most forbidding defense, giving up just 71 points per game. And it's going to be traveling against Valelo, who just lost his footing in the paint. So they get it done on both ends.
Vallejo is a little bit deceptive. He's listed at 5'10", 180 pounds, and the visual test doesn't look a lot quicker than he actually appears. It was a good penetration move, just as you mentioned, lost his balance in the lane.
Vance trying to look down low for Sammy Richardson, who's gotten the start tonight for head coach Philip Matthews. And Ford is fouled on his way to the bucket. That's good to go against Santiago Canyon, and Antoine Jenkins with his first personal. So up steps Xavier Ford, the freshman from Pasadena. He shoots just under 65% from the free throw line, and kind of had a subdued night on Tuesday in that win at Saddleback, in which Riverside City emerged victorious 65-55, but it was Ford 1 for 5, just 4 points. And he misses them both from the charity stripe. And right off the bat, Jenkins, you can see he's a quick scorer. He can score anywhere on the floor. He's going to be a thorn in their side, isn't he?
Well, his season high is 38 points this season, so he is definitely capable of filling it up on his best night.
Good interior passing from Ford to find his way to Amir Davis, coming off a career-high 19 points in that win over Saddleback on Tuesday night. And it's tied up down low. So a timeout on the floor, and that tie-up charge to Riverside. Down by 5 here, not exactly the start they wanted. Just under 3 minutes in, Jeff.
What was surprising to me was the first 2 baskets for Santiago Canyon were 2-pointers. I expected this team to come out firing the 3-ball early and often, especially since they launched 38 3-pointers in their last game. Excellent hustle, too, on that last play before the timeout by Melvin Walker, going down to the floor to get the ball and have the presence of mind to burn a timeout.
Hey, the brass is out. They always come out, provide a great atmosphere here at Riverside City. If you're in the area, coming in and join in on the fun. RCC battling it out with Santiago Canyon at the top of the OEC tonight. RCC ranked 15th in the state, however. The Hawks coming in at number 2 in the latest rankings, which were issued back on the 3rd of February. So Melvin Walker, the freshman from right here in Riverside, running the show here. They'll work the high screen. Richardson, Ford, who's been actively involved early on. 10 to shoot. Davis down low. Xavier Ford well closed down, and Sammy Richardson, good hands off the glass and great awareness. A second assist of the night for Xavier Ford.
Richardson from Lincoln, Nebraska, one of those Midwestern players making the trek out here to California.
All right, it was a good look from Vance, but not able to find the handle is Ford. You see that more and more, these kids making those long trips.
So is it the kids that make the trips, or is it the coaching staff doing a great job of recruiting, or maybe a combination of the two?
Yeah, I think it's both. You know, a tip to the scouts. You know, it's a global game. Of course, that translates and trickles down to the junior college level where the borders have expanded over the years. It's not just your local area players any longer. This is not your grandpa's RCC basketball team, right? Layla looking into the corner now for Lucas Holden, driving baseline. Quick ball movement here as A.J. Garrity puts it on the floor off the back iron. It tips around and eventually controlled by RCC's Amir Davis as Valela takes the charge. Offensive foul against Riverside City.
Well, a lot of the fans here not liking the charge call, which happened right at center floor.
The referee will sort it out. The Hawks out to a 3-point lead. Team that averages, as Jeff mentioned, just under 95 points a game. Just to put that in perspective, remember they only play 40 minutes at the college level. Incredible output. Holden goes to the floor now, and they'll check it back. This is David Agba, the freshman from Eastvale, California, up in NorCal. Looking down low on the baseline. 5 to shoot for the Hawks. Valela drives off the glass, too strong, and rebounded by Davis. Looking for Melvin Walker, stops and pops, leaves it short, and it's tracked down by Lucas Holden. They look down low for Holden. Tell you what, this Santiago Canyon team here, Jeff, really moves that ball around quickly and crisply. Holden on the spin move. Gets the shooter's bounce, and it drops for a 5-point lead for the Hawks.
Holden using all of that 6'6" frame to muscle that one up and in. Looked a little bit off balance when he got into the paint area, but got the charity roll.
Sammy Richardson, and the number 21 in white, getting the start tonight. Davis absorbs the contact. Good use of his body and good strength from Amir Davis, who's really coming on late in the season. He's a guy, he put up 19 on Tuesday, averages just 5.5 per contest, and it's another steal. Here's Ford with a path to the bucket, and he lays it in. Xavier Ford out of Pasadena's Maranatha High School. Long range from Jenkins off the glass. That's what you can expect out of them. Vance. Looking for Davis here as Richardson flares up to the high post. Makes a nice little run. How about that? But couldn't quite execute it. The finish just not there, and they look to run. Agba nearly got to the rim, and Richardson does well to come back and get it for the Tigers.
Well, Walker may have gotten away with a foul on that play. Give him credit for breaking up the pass play. I think this tempo benefits Riverside City College. You don't want to get into shootout with the Hawks.
You know, it's funny. That's what Hawks head coach Todd Dixon told me. He said, hey, these Tigers, they can come out and run. Keelan Vance for 3. Too long. And there is Holden for the rebound. Sloppy. And Davis says, I'll take that, and I'll go all the way to the bucket. Last off of Davis. Now having trouble on the finishing end here, but within one. And timeout on the floor as they'll talk things over with 13:01 left in the first half. So Riverside City up against Santiago Canyon for the second time this season. 8-point losers at Santiago. That was the Hawks' first of their 8 consecutive wins since their only loss, as I mentioned, this season, coming against Fullerton. Checking into the game is Edwin Collins, rated number 12 in white. Adds an offensive spark off the bench. There's a Tiger team that like to utilize nearly their entire bench. Also checking in is number 4, Zakiah Lovett. They'll put it on the floor behind Kevin Zimba. Athletic move from Kevin Zimba. 6'4" sophomore from right here in Riverside. Puts it home from close range.
He's only averaging 3.5 points per game, so he's already close to his season numbers with that one terrific move.
And the Tigers jump out in front. Jenkins on the pull-up, and it's rebounded by Edwin Collins, who's fouled by Agba. You mentioned Zimba. He's been in and out, missed 6 of 9. He's starting to return to peak form, so to speak, but kind of in and out of the lineup as he didn't play a part against Saddleback a couple of nights ago. Certainly adds a real athletic presence when he's included.
Well, it's a nice luxury for head coach Philip Matthews to be able to go deep into your bench. Many basketball teams, you only go 7 or 8 total, including the starters. So you can go 9, 10, or 11. It bodes well for those starters to get a well-deserved blow.
Long one from Lovett. And it goes off the top of the backboard and rebounded by Valela. He wants to force the issue. Valela for 3. Too strong, and there's Jenkins with the rebound and not boxing out. Antoine Jenkins, just 5'11", perhaps the shortest guy on the floor, getting the offensive rebound and the putback.
Well, at that size, he's averaging 4 rebounds per game, so he'll occasionally grab one of those caroms and convert it into 2 points.
Collins on the kick. Here's Zimba going all the way to the rim. Can't get the roll. Last off of Santiago Canyon, so it'll be RCC ball. Collins, his shift very short as Ford checks back into the game. You know, head coach Philip Matthews has been around this game so many years. Not shy about rotating his starting 5. So it's going to be a foul against Riverside City's Zakiah Lovett on the steal from Agba.
Excellent hands by Agba to anticipate that pass on the wing. Pass also telegraphed. The last thing you want to do is stare down your teammate as you deliver the ball. So a heads-up play, a turnover, and a foul.
Second team foul, first personal to the freshman Zakiah Lovett. Had a tough night against Santiago Canyon last month. 0 for 4 from the field. Didn't finish with a single point. Here's Jenkins going to work. Looked like he might have been fouled. No call. And Davis looks to run. I'll kick it back out to Lovett and reset the offense. Here's Davis. Dribble it off the foot, and Jenkins slides out. No shortage of defensive hustle here from the visiting Hawks, that's for sure.
Well, I was curious to see Antoine Jenkins play tonight. I mentioned averaging 24 points a game, leading the conference, and a pretty athletic type player. And you wouldn't expect somebody who's only 5'11" to average 24 points per game, but he's been filling up the stat sheet this season.
Here's Zimba from long range. Don't see that too often from him. It's 1 for 11 from beyond the arc in Santiago Canyon. Offensive foul as Tyler Goodlow is checked into the game, who's sophomore guard who's missed a lot of action this year, Jeff.
Yeah, Goodlow played the first 7 games of the year, then missed 17 straight games, came back just a couple of days ago against Fullerton. Very productive in 15 minutes, tossed in 12 points. That's a great way to come off the pine.
They have depth. They have offense at nearly 10 players deep. It's a big ask here for RCC, but they're a tough, gritty team that's always up for the fight. Davis looking down low for Sammy Richardson. Just doesn't have the shooter's roll tonight, and it's going to be Hawks ball. He's getting those looks, close in, but Richardson having a tough time finishing.
One of the reasons why he's not finishing is I think he's lost presence of where the basket is at. You know, you run that baseline and you catch the ball down low. Sometimes it takes a second or two to find out where the rim is.
Here's Paulo Araujo for A.J. Garrity, just a piece. That time from Riverside City's Xavier Ford with the block. Zimba. It's going to be a blocking foul against Santiago Canyon's David Agba, who picks up his second personal. That could have gone either way.
Zimba did a pretty good job after he caught that pass. Tried to go around the defender. Many times offensive players have that straight line to the basket mentality. Even though he tried to make the move to his left, he still drew the contact and he'll head to the line.
Zimba, who attended Carnegie High School here at Riverside, 6'4", 185 pounds. And the guy's not too prolific. Mentioned 3.5 points per game, just a little over 3 rebounds. Trying to tie this game up, but provides that athletic presence off the bench, as well as a role in the starting 5 when he's called upon. And misses them both. So here comes Goodlow all the way. A little wild that time for Goodlow, and he grabs that right knee. Not good signs there as Vance at the other end throws it up. A little wild from him. Gets it back, puts it up, and in, and one for Keelan Vance. The kid from Jefferson High School in Portland, Oregon. With a chance to extend the lead here as RCC jump out in front by 1.
The charity roll of the night for Vance. We mentioned earlier, had his best game of the season against Saddleback, coming off the bench. He's been in and out of the starting lineup this season for Riverside City College. He got the start tonight, and he's producing here in the first half.
And the former Jefferson Democrat won't get it to drop. Being from the Pacific Northwest and knowing that high school puts out so many good products up there in Portland.
I really think the tempo, though, of this game bodes well for RCC. I want to try to keep this just like it was the last game. It was a 71-63 score in their last meeting. Keep it in the 60s or 70s, and they have a chance at a win.
Collins yet to get going. Davis leaves it baseline for 3. No good from Vance. Hasn't been shy about pulling the trigger, and away comes A.J. Garrity up for Paulo Araujo. You know, like RCC, they like to utilize a lot of their players. This time, it's Garrity who won't get the triple to fall. Long distance one, trying to pick out the likes of Edwin Collins, who couldn't control it. And you see Philip Matthews here on the sideline say, hey guys, settle down. Let yourself back into this game. Of course, Philip's son Jonas starring for USC as well. And how about that? And one, Tyler Goodlow. He's back, folks. And the Hawks reclaim the lead.
Very quick first step by Goodlow. Driving right into Sammy Richardson, who was about a step slow, trying to slow down his counterpart. It's good body control, too. Drawing the contact and converting the three-point play.
So Goodlow had 12 points just 48 hours ago, off and running tonight. Going to put those injury worries behind him. Stop from Edwin Collins. It's going to be a foul. It's going to go against Zimba. So that looks to be the 4th team foul.
Well, the temptation when you're trying to grab an offensive rebound when you have an opponent in front of you is to not go over the back. Very difficult to do, and he was caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
So many players who, Jeff, provide instant offense. Garrity. Goodlow looking to go one-on-one against Vance. Throws up the left, and another and one for Tyler Goodlow. And he'll throw in a flex for good measure. Not too shabby.
Flipped it up with a left hand, got the charity roll, and decides to go old school. Flexing the guns. Gotta love it. Gotta love the confidence.
So Goodlow averages 10 points per contest. Can't complete the three-point play. So many isolation, so much one-on-one basketball here tonight. RCC trailing by 4, just under 8, and a turnover from Vance. Araujo only too happy to oblige and lays it off softly with that right hand. Paulo Araujo, the 6'3 sophomore from Santa Ana, can score in a variety of ways.
Excellent job by the Hawks, taking that turnover and turning it into points.
Zimba down low and won't get it to drop. Gets his own rebound, but it gets away from him. Shot clock did not reset now. 5 for RCC, and Amir Davis going straight in against Holden, and Davis is fouled. Not sure if they are aware that that shot clock had not reset.
The head coach Todd Dixon, Santiago Canyon, off the bench, barking at the officials after that call. It's got to be frustrating too when the shot clock's down to 3 and you get bailed out. Well, they're not going to call it a shooting foul, so the Tigers will inbound the ball baseline.
Well, not in the bonus yet either. 16 foul charge to Santiago Canyon. Here's Collins now looking for Melvin Walker, the freshman. Puts it on the floor. Davis does the same. Soft floater, gets it to go. And Garrity thought he might have taken the charge, but it's not given. And they're making a concerted effort to get Zimba involved offensively, and it's paying off. Here's Valela all the way to the iron. Double clutch won't drop. Rebounded by Zimba, who's everywhere right now. Davis on the kick, and they'll leave it for Levette. The triple is good. Zekiah Levette cuts the lead to 1.
Levette shooting 33% from three-point range, drilling the triple. I like the resiliency of RCC, staying close with Santiago Canyon.
Goodlow kicks it. Araujo for 3. Leaves it off that front edge, and it's rebounded by Edwin Collins. And this time it will be the charge. It's taken by Valela, and it's going to go against Amir Davis. It'll be his second personal foul, and the 16th foul against RCC.
Well, some of the fans not liking the call, along with head coach Philip Matthews, who's barking at the official just below us. There he is, the bottom left part of your screen in the black jacket with the orange stripes. Very frustrated head coach.
See, you look at this, Jeff. It's a 1-point lead here for Santiago Canyon, but a team that scores 90, and you've held them to just 20 points here in the first 14 minutes. Perhaps Philip Matthews has to be pleased with his defense. Holden had the look, too strong off the glass, and it's rebounded by Collins, who's rocking him up. Puts it lefty, kicks it, out of control, and another turnover against the Tigers.
Got to take care of the basketball in a close game. You know, going back to those numbers, too, the last 3 games, 111, 112, 118 points. 2 of those 3 games against teams not quite as good as RCC, although the 118 points was against a very good Fullerton team that was 20-4 going into that game. I just think this is a better matchup.
Agba, athletic, just hangs in the air, the freshman. He went to Roosevelt with Dobson, his teammate, and those two finding an understanding here for the Santiago Canyon team. Here's Walker. Into the corner for Richardson. Levette's not shy about pulling the trigger. Too strong off the glass, and it's rebounded by Paulo Araujo. And here come the Hawks with that 3-point lead. Valela, good strength against Richardson. Tries to force it. Some defensive help there from Justin Motley. Valela saying, hey, it went off of Motley, but it will be Tigers' ball.
Unfortunately, no replay for the officials anyway.
No reverse angles.
No coming to press row to
no blimp shots.
Check the monitor.
It's old school. I like it. Lovett crossing it up. Gets himself tied up in knots, but bails himself out. This time, the window is kind. Zakiah Lovett, the freshman from Redondo. Here's Jenkins gliding to the glass. He's elegant, isn't he?
Lightning quick. Attacks the basket as soon as he gets the ball in his hands. Certainly see why he's putting up a ton of points this year.
Lovett from just inside the arc. It's a two-pointer for Zakiah Lovett to draw within one. Back-to-back buckets, though. It won't drop for Goodlow. This is a team, Santiago Canyon. They have put up 132 points. That early in December at the expense of El Camino. Gives you an idea of their lethality. Walker won't get it to drop. It's rebounded by Agbo, who can put it on the floor. They'll kick it out. Jenkins, Araujo thinks about the three, dribbles and hits. Nothing but backboard.
Now this is where if you're Riverside City College, you want to slow down your offense, work the shot clock, keep this game as low scoring as possible. I think you'd take a 1-point game here with 3:30 left in the first half if you were to talk to head coach Philip Matthews before the game.
Here's Lovett from long range. He is feeling it. My goodness. Zakiah Lovett with 7 straight points, and it's a 2-point lead here for RCC. Timeout on the floor, and Santiago Canyon want to talk things over.
Lovett was actually scoreless in the previous meeting between these two teams back on January 15th. He was 0 for 4 from the field. So a much better performance against the top team in the conference, and that's what you want. You want your big-time players stepping up their play.
Yeah, they don't have that big out-and-out 15 to 20-point scorer. In fact, Lovett is their top scorer right now. He averages 10.6, but the last time they met, he was only 10 minutes on the floor. He has had a huge impact here coming off the bench tonight for the Tigers, who are feeling good about their prospects against the #1 team in the OEC.
You want balance offensively. The only time that's a negative is in the fourth quarter when you need a go-to player, someone to put the ball in the hands of to get that needed basket in a close game. It's great to have that balance, but of course it hasn't affected the Tigers. Excellent overall record going into this game.
Now 24-1 off the back of 8 straight. And it's not a fluke this year. They won 20 games in each of their previous 2 seasons. 20-9 last year. Finished 3rd in the OEC with 9-3 in conference play before bowing out in the Southern California Regional second round. And 17-18 had quite a ball club as well, winning 22 and losing 9. So Todd Dixon, longtime head coach at the high school level with El Toro, now finding the Midas touch here at the junior college level as well. Jenkins on the floor. This time it won't drop for him, and Zimba skies for the rebound. Good ball movement here and into the baseline. Corner for the triple, no good from Vance. Offensive rebound, Sammy Richardson. He adds a little flex as he muscles that one in.
Richardson averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds per game, and he got an offensive rebound and a putback.
Holden with the answer. Richardson's getting his first points, and he'll drive right on Holden. Did really well, got his own rebound. It won't drop for him, and Araujo corrals it. Jenkins and wide open. A.J. Garrity had a great look at it, left it short, and it's rebounded by Lovett. They'll just want to slow it up and get the tempo more to their liking. Here's Vance on the high screen from Richardson. It won't drop for him, and it's rebounded by Vilela. Jenkins, you know, every time he gets that ball, he thinks basket first.
Now that was good team defense, too. He dribbled into a double team and then had the ball knocked away. I like the way the Tigers are defending him. A guy that puts up a lot of points, you got to have some athletes on the floor, and RCC certainly has those tonight.
So 90 seconds left here in the first half. Here's Mel Walker. And it's going to be a blocking foul against Vilela. Can't believe his luck there. Take another look at it.
I think that's a charge. Vilela's actually gotten 2 other charges on 2 previous plays, so maybe the officials were trying to even things up in that situation.
That's kind of his MO. A consummate team player. So that will put them in the bonus. Up steps Mel Walker. Third best free throw shooter in the entire Orange Empire, shooting at just under 81% per game.
Yeah, the Tigers as a team, 67.5% this year. Meanwhile, the Hawks, excellent free throw shooting team. They're converting at 76%. So keep those numbers in mind if this is a close game in the second half.
28-26. This is the front end of that 1-and-1. Here's Jenkins looking down low for a hold-in. Trying to post up against the likes of Jared Elliott, who's checked in. Here's Garrity. Good moves off the dribble. He looks really composed. A.J. Garrity, the sophomore from Huntington Beach's Edison High School. Just a certain air of smoothness and composure from the sophomore. Long distance effort. Zakiah Levette is having himself quite a second quarter. First half.
Levette double figures in 15 of 26 games this year. He's close to adding 1 number to both of those totals.
Jenkins gets it to go on the other end. Mel Walker has a great look at it. Won't get it to go. Rebounded by Vilela. It might be a quarter here for Levette as he's checking off the bench. And here's Jenkins for 3. And he cans it. Lethal score.
That should have been the final shot because the shot clock was turned off, but with Jenkins on the floor, there is no shot clock. Just put the ball in his hands and let it fly.
And he shoots over 45% from three-point land. Third in Orange Empire. Walker tied up. 2 to shoot, and it's hoisted up. Won't go. The putback. It wasn't good enough. Good effort from Ford. Collins was there on the glass. And it is halftime here at Wheelock Gymnasium. Didn't quite beat the buzzer. Wasn't to be. The advance was there, but in the end, I tell you what, down 2 after 20 minutes. Your thoughts here, Jeff Tulcher?
Well, in their previous matchup, RCC led at the half 33-29. Here they're down by 2 points. Almost identical scores in the first 2 games between these top 2 teams in the conference. This game is playing out how RCC wants it. They don't want to get into a run-and-gun situation with the Hawks. I think this is going to be a nip-and-tuck game, probably all the way down to the final minutes.
So halftime here, Wheelock Gymnasium in the Inland Empire. And it's Santiago Canyon up by 2, 33-31 at the break. Back with more after this, right here on Riverside TV.
Hey, sweetie. What did you learn in school today?
I learned that the 2020 census counts everyone in the U.S. Where there are more people, there are more needs for things like roads, schools, and hospitals.
I learned that billions in funding goes to communities like ours because of the census.
I learned that the Census Bureau collects data about communities in all states and territories of the U.S. Statistics in Schools offers free educational materials powered by census data. Learn more at census.gov/schools.
The City of Riverside's 311 app lets you stay more connected than ever. Riverside's 311 app allows you to submit service requests like graffiti, code violations, potholes, and more. You can also check on any past requests you've submitted, pay your utility bill, and review current press releases, articles, and social media. Download the Riverside 311 app today from your app store or at riversideca.gov/apps.
My grandma always says everyone counts, and everyone who lives with us is special. Like my aunt, who took me on my first bus ride to the library. Or my older cousin, who walked me to my first day of school. Even my mom's friend and her baby who lived with us.
The census informs funding for schools, roads, healthcare, and more. So count everyone in your home, including all children, on the 2020 census. It's your chance to help them for the next 10 years. You can respond online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more.
How do I take the 2020 census? In March 2020, every address in the country will receive an invitation to complete a simple questionnaire, and there are 3 ways to respond. Number 1, do it online. Number 2, call by phone. Number 3, send it by mail. For those who don't respond, a census taker from your community will follow up and assist you.
Is my 2020 census data safe? After sending your census response, your personal information is kept safe. By law, it can't be shared with any other government agency, law enforcement, or landlord. No one. So take your 2020 census with peace of mind. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
I ain't with the back and forth. I ain't back and forth.
Hey, sweetie. What did you learn in school today?
I learned that the 2020 census counts everyone in the U.S. Where there are more people, there are more needs for things like roads, schools, and hospitals.
I learned that billions in funding goes to communities like ours because of the census.
I learned that the Census Bureau collects data about communities in all states and territories of the U.S. Statistics in Schools offers free educational materials powered by census data. Learn more at census.gov/schools.
The City of Riverside's 311 app lets you stay more connected than ever. Riverside's 311 app allows you to submit service requests like graffiti, code violations, potholes, and more. You can also check on any past requests you've submitted, pay your utility bill, and review current press releases, articles, and social media. Download the Riverside 311 app today from your app store or at riversideca.gov/apps.
My grandma always always says everyone counts, and everyone who lives with us is special. Like my aunt, who took me on my first bus ride to the library, or my older cousin, who walked me to my first day of school, even my mom's friend and her baby who live with us.
The census informs funding for schools, roads, healthcare, and more. So count everyone in your home, including all children on the 2020 census. It's your chance to help them for the next 10 years. You can respond online, by phone, or by mail. Shape your future. Start here. Learn more at 2020census.gov.
The Community Police Review Commission was created to promote public confidence in the professionalism and accountability of the City of Riverside's Police Department. The commission consists of an all-civilian panel of members from across the city. The commission's roles include advising the mayor and city council on all police relations issues, reviewing and investigating officer-involved deaths, receiving complaints, and conducting hearings on misconduct against sworn Riverside police officers, making policy suggestions, and bringing community concerns to the attention of the Riverside Police Department. If you're interested in learning more about how you can serve or for information on the commission, visit riversideca.gov/CPRC.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more.
How do I take the 2020 census? In March 2020, every address in the country will receive an invitation to complete a simple questionnaire, and there are 3 ways to respond. Number 1, do it online. Number 2, call by phone. Number 3, send it by mail. For those who don't respond, a census taker from your community will follow up and assist you.
Is my 2020 census data safe? After sending your census response, your personal information is kept safe. By law, it can't be shared with any other government agency, law enforcement, or landlord. No one. So take your 2020 census with peace of mind. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.
I ain't with the back and forth, I ain't back and forth, like fuck what you asking for, but your back and forth, like but if your man still back at home, he ain't that important, like you ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before, you like when you put it like that, you right. My brother had to backtrack, back on back, you right.
Riverside on 212, Riverside!
Here in California, citrus is a part of our lives every day. But what if it all just disappeared? A devastating plant disease called Huanglongbing, or HLB, spread by the Asian citrus psyllid, is fatal for citrus trees, and it might be found in your own backyard. That's why it's important that we all do our part to keep California citrus safe. Don't let California citrus disappear. Visit CaliforniaCitrusThreat.org to learn more.
El censo cuenta a todos los que vivimos en este país, incluyendo aquellos que no pensarías que también cuentan. Una persona en el hospital, sí, cuenta. Los García y los Álvarez que comparten la misma casa, sí, todos cuentan. El primo Luis que está viviendo en el garaje de Pedro, también cuenta. El censo cuenta a todos para que a todos nos vaya mejor.
I do a lot of portraits and a lot of florals.
Leather, wood, cars, metal, I can't pick a favorite. So I'll go work on another project and I'll move over here, move over there, and I do have many things happening. And eventually I finish. I think for me it's creating anything. I just have to be creating something.
I start by writing my thoughts on the canvas, and then the painting starts. It's usually acrylic, and then some chalk or charcoal pencil on top, or occasionally it's oil. Definitely inspiration comes from travel, nature, and I think sometimes even reference images. It's not always reflected directly in the art piece, but definitely inspiration comes from it.
We have ideas and we run things off of each other, and we'll talk about, you know, a lot of times she likes things different than me. I'm like very finished and polished, and I like traditional woodworking things, and she may like an older, rattier piece of wood that I would throw away.
I love Riverside primarily for all the historical preservation. We knew this was where we wanted to be, just had to find the right spot. Just having the space that this house has for us creatively has really helped us as creatives, because
gives us space to do our thing.
He has that whole basement. I love my studio because of the lighting and just the inspiration, because I have nature right outside of my windows. So it's really, I think, important sometimes as creative people to be in an environment every day that brings you inspiration.
Code enforcement receives hundreds of new complaints each week from the public, and our code enforcement officers are tasked with responding to them. As part of the city's strategic goals, the Riverside City Council adopted a set of performance measures for the Code Enforcement Division of responding to 90% or more of complaints within 5 business days or less. Prior to this goal, the division's response rate was around 50% within 5 business days. In order to accomplish this, we made some minor process adjustments to streamline the process of getting complaints into the hands of a field officer, but most of all, we created a culture of responsiveness within the division. The Code Enforcement Division's automated case management system was used to initiate cases as the complaints are received.
And welcome back to Wheelock Gymnasium here on the campus of Riverside City College. It's halftime between the men of Santiago Canyon and RCC, and it's the Hawks with a 2-point lead. Glad you're along with us. This is the second of our 2-game doubleheader here from RCC. Christian Miles alongside Jeff Tolcher. We talked about the tempo in the first half, Jeff, and things looking pretty good for the Tigers as we get set for half number 2.
Oh, this game playing out just as Riverside City College would like it to. Quick look at some of the numbers. RCC in the first half shooting 42% from the field, 30% from three-point range, 3 out of 10. Meanwhile, for Santiago Canyon, 45% from the field, 15 out of 33. But the three-point shooting, 2 out of 11 for the Hawks. Go back to their last game. They were 21 out of 38 from three-point range. Big difference in the three-point shooting. And one of the keys we talked about going into this game is going to be the transition three-point defense for the Tigers. Well, in the first half, excellent job in that category.
So we'll start it off. Tiger ball. With the big edge and rebounding. 25-16. 7 of those 25 on the offensive glass. And they've been very cognizant of this quick trigger offense from Santiago Canyon. Will they have the answer on the other end? They look down low. Sammy Richardson clear path and muscles it past David Agba, who's carrying a couple of personal fouls. Nothing called there. And just the start they wanted is we tied up at 33s, but Jenkins gets to the glass and can't convert.
Well, Jenkins, 13 of the 33 points in the first half for Santiago Canyon. No surprise there, averaging 24 points a game going into this one.
Here's Keelan Vance, who got the start tonight. Not exactly hot shooting, but trying to take advantage of that cold shooting from Santiago Canyon. And Keelan Vance says, I can take that and I can hit it. Down low for Holden, who did well to keep it in. Agba Twisting and turning, leaves it for Garrity, but how about that hit from Keelan Vance?
Well, Vance only with 5 points. His first three-pointer of the game. He had 29 points in the last game for RCC.
Up and under from Valela, won't get it to go, and Agba there with the follow. And Agba with 4 points on the evening. And keeping Santiago Canyon, the first place team in the Orange Empire, within 1 point. It's been nip and tuck. And it's going to be Melvin Walker with traveling. Just shuffled his feet, a little over anxious perhaps. You mentioned it, Jeff. 2 for 11 from beyond the arc from Santiago Canyon. This is the best three-point shooting team in the Orange Empire Conference. They shoot it at a clip of nearly 41.5%. So a testament to this RCC defense. Garrity driving the lane and goes all the way right down the Tigers' throats. As Santiago Canyon take that 1 point lead, and Garrity with the big bucket. He's come up big tonight. Ford getting himself tied up. Davis, who is really active early on, just leaves that one short, rebounded by Agba. Here's Jenkins for 3, and leaves it short off that front edge. And here comes Walker all the way to the rim, just throws it up. Richardson not good enough on the putback as Agba collides right into Melvin Walker, who will be called for the blocking foul. So first personal foul for Melvin Walker.
And looking quickly back at those first half numbers, Lovett had 10 points, Davis with 9, so they had 19 of Riverside's 31 points in the first half. So you want a little bit more balance offensively. This is a pretty balanced team throughout the course of a season scoring-wise.
And Holden just glides to the rim, and Lucas Holden did really well, the sophomore from Anaheim Hills. Holden with 6 points. Jenkins pacing everybody at halftime with 13 at the intermission. A look inside for Davis. Foul before the shot. This could be tough if it's against Agba. If it is, it will be his third, and that is the case. So 3 personal fouls on David Agba, who's into foul trouble, and that will summon Paulo Araujo off the bench.
16:29 left in the second half. You get in foul trouble, you head to the bench. I would expect to see him at about the 10-minute mark.
Five to shoot for the Tigers. They'll leave it, and they get it to go. Xavier Ford with the bucket. Xavier Ford with a much-needed bucket at that. 6 points on the night for the RCC guard. Well, dumping inside for Holden. He's got a nice look. How about the cut to the basket? But Araujo can't finish. Rebounded by Keelan Vance. And here come the Tigers. And it was a slide of that pivot foot that got Vance traveling again here against RCC.
Vance getting an earful from head coach Philip Matthews on his way to the bench. It's a difficult play. You're penetrating in the middle part of the lane. And as you see the defender, you're looking for some help on either side. You saw his teammate just shuffle his feet before he delivered him the ball.
Into the hands of Antoine Jenkins. Gets tied up that time. Just getting a hand in was Xavier Ford.
Now Ford is saying that Antoine Jenkins swatted his hand away. Some pretty good athletes going toe-to-toe, and it's a big challenge for the Tigers when you know you're facing a lethal scorer like number 11 for the Hawks. They'll try to keep him under control tonight.
It's going to be against Santiago Canyon. That's going to go against A.J. Garrity. Just trying to tidy things up. That'll be his second. Here's Walker. Throws it up a little lucky off the glass, but he'll take it. And Melvin Walker gets on the board here for RCC. His first bucket of the night. On the other end, corralled by Davis. Looks wide, he's got himself a man. It's Lovett who continues his great shooting ways tonight. Zakiah Lovett having himself a heck of a ball game.
And what a run for Riverside City College, their largest lead of the game, 5 points. You would expect nothing less from the top two teams in the conference.
3 for 4 from three-point land. 13 points on the night for Zakiah Lovett coming off the bench. And here's Jenkins stepping away from long range. Won't get it to go. And here comes Walker into the corner. It's Lovett. Just off that back iron. Last off of Zimba, and it will be Hawks ball.
I don't know why I see a similarity when I look at Zimba to Draymond Green. Maybe a little bit smaller size-wise. Then again, he stands tall, about 6'4", so looks somewhat familiar to Draymond.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He's kind of got that same demeanor, same style. Here's Jenkins trying to put it on the floor and cross up Melvin. Walker wasn't having any of it this time. He stood his ground. And it's a turnover charge to Antoine Jenkins. He's called for the foul.
Excellent defensive play by Walker, who picked his pocket, then took the contact. Starting to sense that Antoine Jenkins is getting a little frustrated, even though he did have 13 points in the first half to lead the Hawks in scoring. This game not going the way of Santiago Canyon tonight. Keep in mind, this team only has one loss all year long.
It's the biggest lead of the evening here for the Tigers. Thanks largely in part to this man, Zakiah Lovett. They'll swing it. Edwin Collins is yet to get going. And traveling yet again, this time Melvin Walker. It's the third time in this half that RCC have been called for steps.
When you're not running your offense, you get into that one-on-one situation, try to make something happen, you wind up forcing a turnover.
And Jenkins forcing it on the other end. Leaves it short. Lovett thought about it. And they'll pull it back out. There's a swagger in the RCC step right now. He's Walker. Opts for Davis. Tigers looking for the upset. Davis dishes inside, and it's going to be a foul against RCC. And Davis called for the charge. That'll be his third. So timeout on the floor. They want to talk things over here. RCC up by 5, but we see some careless mistakes on both ends.
Yeah, it's been somewhat of a sloppy first part of the second half for both teams. But I think if you're the Tigers, you're happy with the way this game is playing out. The last thing you want to do is get into a up and down the floor, run and gun, shootout type of game. Keep it low scoring, making good defensive plays. I've been impressed with the way the Tigers are playing tonight.
They wanted to slow things down. They want to defend in transition. And don't let them get into that groove. And when they held them to 2 for 11 from beyond the arc by halftime, you'd have to say they executed that game plan to very good effect. Now, seeing it out is another story. There's plenty of time here with 13:04 left in this one, but feeling very good and pretty much sticking to the script.
I think that's why sometimes numbers can be deceptive. We're looking at the numbers preparing for this game, and I mentioned the 111, 112, 118 points scored in the last 3 games. But with the exception of the Fullerton team, what was the competition? Again, this is the second team in the conference with RCC. Pretty good defensive team, only allowing 65 points per game all year.
Good look inside as Araujo converts from close range. Big bucket for Paulo Araujo. A variety of weapons that they have. They get caught inside. Dobson with nowhere to go. Valela Araujo. Here's Goodlow. Won't get a drop. He just checked it. Timeout on the floor. Philip Matthews wants to talk things over here with 12:27 left. 3-point game. They've clawed. They've fought their way back. They were down by 2 at halftime. They're up by 3 here as we approach the midpoint of the second half. And RCC really in the thick of the hunt. It's a team that, have had their ups and downs, starting to turn it on, and really, truly a Philip Matthews type of team fashion right now. They're looking for their 7th win in their last 8 games. The only loss in that stretch coming Friday at Irvine Valley when they were beaten by 7, 65-58. Snapping, by the way, a run of 5 consecutive victories. So very much in this one, and we'll see if Philip Matthews is drawn up. Jeff, you've been in this situation so many times. You're feeling good about yourself, but you don't want to get overconfident. What do you think Philip Matthews is telling his guys right now?
I think he called that timeout to try to slow them down. Got to keep the momentum on your side. Want to make sure your players remain composed. And you see the turnovers starting to rack up. That's when a coach goes, look, we need to settle down, get back into our offense. I think he's got to be happy with the way his team has played defensively in this game. You mentioned the 3-point shooting numbers at the half for Santiago Canyon. A team that shoots a lot of 3 balls. He only got 11 launched in the first half, and they've done a pretty good job here in the second half of not giving them those open looks.
If there was an ethos about a Philip Matthews coach team, especially here at Riverside City now in his 4th season, it's team defending, and it's gotten them back into this game and giving Santiago Canyon all they can handle. Keelan Vance getting it done with his 2nd triple here in half number 2, and how about Keelan Vance? Doing very well with 8 points. Extending the lead to 6, and it's Richardson ripping it away from Garrity, and Richardson won't convert, but Lovett is there. Well, he did all the hard work, the heavy lifting, and Lovett fortunately following it up. It's another turnover in Santiago Canyon. They are rattled. It's Vance who thought about the 3, looks to kick. Lovett from the trifecta. Won't get it to drop, and it's kept alive.
That's a smart play by Vance. He was tempted to take the jump shot, decides to reset the offense.
And Vance right in the face of Goodlow, and it'll drop. It won't. They'll wave it off.
Yeah, the ball hit the top of the 30-second clock, and that's an automatic dead ball situation. So even though the ball went in the basket, they're going to take the basket away.
I've seen a lot of strange things in this game of basketball, and you don't see that one too often.
Well, that shot clock is actually reset a little bit back from the back bar. It's hard to tell from this vantage point, but that's considered a dead ball when the ball hits that.
That's why you're here, my friend. The brains of the operation swatted away as Valela gets it back, though. Here's Mr. Offense. Goodlow leaves it for Valela. Little 2-man game, and it's Goodlow for 3. Misses everything, but Agba is there for the offensive rebound. So timeout away for the ball. The referee has to talk things over here, and some discrepancy with the clock.
Yeah, they didn't reset the clock. I guess the question was that last shot hit the rim. If it didn't hit the rim, then the clock should not be reset. So it looks like that's what they're stopping play to make sure of.
And from our vantage point, he missed everything on that 3-point attempt for Goodlow. So at 7 right now, with 11 minutes left in the ball game. 8-point lead. Santiago Canyon have had their work cut out for them. Here in one of the toughest gyms to play. Jenkins pulls up, beats the clock, won't get it to drop, but the shot clock had expired, so he didn't beat it in the end.
Well, the ball did not hit the rim on a shot. If you miss it before the rebound and the shot clock goes off, the officials tap the top of their head. It's a turnover for Santiago Canyon.
And further testament to this defense, here's Levette from three-point land, and he cans it. He is having himself a ball game. 18 points for Zakiah Levette with 3 from three-point land here in the second half. Valela twists and turns and earns himself a hard-work trip to the free throw line, despite the appeals from Zimba.
Well, which team is 24-1 again going into this game? You wouldn't know that by the scoreboard.
It's incredible. So Zimba with his second personal, 14th foul. And up steps Valela from Corona Centennial High School. Had a hot shooting night on Tuesday, putting in 19 when he went, get this, 6 for 8 and 3 for 4 from three-point lands. Left that free throw short. And RCC continuing to assert their dominance here in the second half. Walker. And checking in is Jared Elliott, the number 15 in white. 5 to shoot. Walker pulls up and won't get it to drop. Rebounded by Araujo. This will be a test of the Hawks' mettle. Not too often they find themselves in this type of situation.
Well, it's one thing to trail in a game. It's another thing to trail on the road against the number 2 team in the conference. So a much bigger hill to climb for a team that puts up a ton of points, but they've been held in check tonight.
Davis is checked back in. Walker goes to the bench for Riverside City. Santiago Canyon, number 2 in the state of California. Up against it here, Valela down low, and Agba. Good two-man game between those two. And David Agba puts it home yet again. 6 points tonight. And Zakiah Levette, what can you say about this kid? When you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
That's a good-looking stroke, too. Watch the rotation of the basketball. If you want to see someone that's got good technique, well, that certainly bodes well in that category.
21 points for Zakiah Levette. And 4 3-pointers here in the second half. Vance says, I want it, but he won't hit it. Zimba read it so well. Vance on the kick. And to guard Levette a little bit tighter from here on out, I'm sure. Good looking pass for Vance. It just went off the hands of Jared Elliott, the freshman. It's a great looking feed, but too hot to handle, and that will earn him a trip to the bench as Richardson comes back in for him. It'll be Hawks ball. They're staring down the gun barrel right now. Jenkins wants it against Zimba, and he's got the edge and speed. He takes him right to the hole. So slithery, lightning quick. Vance down low. Richardson stops and won't muscle it in. He's just left so many short little bunnies, if you will, just aren't dropping for Sammy Richardson tonight. Meanwhile, Jenkins says, I'll take it, and I will glide to the hole for another 2. Timeout, Tigers. It's a 5-point game. And just when you start to write Santiago Canyon off, Antoine Jenkins and company come firing right back.
Oh, back-to-back baskets by the scoring leader in the conference. And when you're down on the road, you need your big players to step up. I've been waiting for Jenkins to kind of take over. He had 13 points at the half. was a big part of the scoring for the Hawks, but he's been somewhat quiet tonight. Well, those last 2 possessions, he was anything but quiet.
Santiago Canyon led by 2 at halftime, finding themselves down 5 with 7:53 left here at Riverside City College. And trying to work the magic yet again. Looking, of course, for their 5th consecutive win at the expense of the Tigers after they emerged victorious last month at Santiago Canyon by 8 points. Kind of a similar storyline tonight, but I'll tell you what, the conference's best offense has been well held in check. A full 45 points behind their offensive average. And a testament to this defense. They came in ranked just 4th in the OEC, but they've turned it on tonight on the Riverside City side of things.
And it's been the perimeter defense and the athleticism of the Tigers. I think that's been the big difference in keeping this Santiago Canyon team in check offensively. But you saw how powerful or how explosive Antoine Jenkins is. I would expect to see the ball in the hands of number 11 a lot here in the final 7:48.
He's the leading scorer in the Orange Empire. And a very hot property, I'm sure, with some D1 schools taking a look at him. Here's Davis going against Araujo. 10 to shoot for Riverside City. And Levette has had the hot hand. They close him down, and he's going to be fouled. And if this is against Agba, it is. It's going to be rough for him. That'll be his 4th personal for David Agba. So that will bring in A.J. Garrity off the bench, and Agba will take a rest. It'll be the 4th team foul against the Hawks.
And that's a difficult call, too. Trying to play some perimeter defense, a bit of a touch foul. That's where the officials sometimes have to get a feel for the game and let that play go.
Vance found himself in hot water. 2 to shoot, hoisted up. Walker, you betcha! Melvin Walker, the freshman from North High School, right here at Riverside with a huge triple. And he extends the lead to 8. Foul down low as it's called. It's going to go against Melvin Walker. Just hit that. So Walker, just his 2nd personal.
Well, Walker's got the inevitable job of trying to slow down Antoine Jenkins. Defensive matchup of the night.
Probably the toughest assignment in Southern California junior college basketball right now. This one staying, bucket no good. So back-to-back fouls against Walker, who's up to 3 now. And this is where the Hawks really need a bucket. I want to talk about an examination of character. This is it. If you want to be number 1, you've got to earn it. High screen from Garrity to free up Valela, who gets past Richardson, but it's going to be a foul. And a trip to the free throw line for Paul Valela. It's going to go against Sammy Richardson.
Well, that's the 17th foul against RCC. So for the final 6:25, every whistle other than an offensive foul will send the Hawks to the free throw line, where as a team this year, they're shooting 76%.
And Valela, a cool customer from the free throw line. 11th in OEC, 71.5% for the charity stripe. Cuts it to 6.
Well, this is where, if you're RCC, you want to work the shot clock down. Chew off as much of that time as possible. This game is really going to their liking, and want to be patient.
They've controlled the narrative, so to speak, imposing their style. Down low for Levette, and everything is dropping for Zakiah Levette. 23 points for Zakiah Levette. And down low, the rejection. And Amir Davis getting it done defensively.
Well, that was the fly swat of the night. Excellent timing by Davis, who sent that last shot attempt toward downtown Riverside.
And all of a sudden, it's Jenkins stops and pops. Too strong. Last off of Holden, Tiger ball. Now, Amir Davis, he had that hot start. They wanted to get him involved early on in the first half, kind of slowed down, but finding a way to contribute on the defensive end and kind of defining an underlying theme in this one, this athleticism from RCC. Richardson putting it on the floor against Garrity. Walker kicks, Davis drives baseline. Richardson going straight to the iron, a little sloppy. Rebounded by Amir Davis at a fresh shot clock before he's fouled by Tyler Goodlow. That will be the 5th team foul against Santiago Canyon.
Davis and Richardson doing the job down low. Love those second chance opportunities too in an 8-point game. Those second chance opportunities become magnified, especially if you're able to convert.
Second personal to Tyler Goodlow. Well, that everything he's touched, especially here in the second half, is turned to gold. Fancies his chances up against Holden, but they'll go with Richardson against Garrity. Tries to muscle it in. The tip not there as well. It's been a tough shooting night for RCC. Sammy Richardson. Philip Matthews just imploring himself along with the rest of his coaching staff, say, hey, you got to put those home, big man.
Well, the mistake that Richardson made was the second opportunity. He tried to one-hand it. You want to go up and grab that rebound, compose yourself, then go back up. You're going to try to tip it in. You got to be pretty much right at the rim.
So Zimba checks in. Richardson will get a blow. Antoine Jenkins, what a player. He's just lead the league in scoring. He's second in assists as well at 4.8. They won't get it to go there. Vance behind the back, pretty stuff. And shooters roll, Keelan Vance, stylish, you could say. Goodlow with steps. As though he may have been tied up.
Well, this is not the Santiago Canyon team that I thought I was going to see tonight. This team is averaging 95 points a game, and at 4:30 left in the second half, they're at 52. A lot of credit has to go to the Tigers defensively.
Yeah, the best offense. They shoot the ball better than anybody, as well as better than anybody from three-point land. That has not been the case tonight. So fresh shot clock here for RCC in the driver's seat. Up by 10. Just over 4 minutes remaining in this one. Great night for basketball here in the Inland Empire. Looking down low, Vance finds Amir Davis, who banks it home.
I think the athleticism of this Tiger team is giving the Hawks all kinds of trouble.
11 points for Davis. His first points in the second half as Holden is fouled. Trying to back down Walker. He's going to find himself in foul trouble here now with his 4th personal.
Well, it'll be decision time for head coach Philip Matthews. Do you pull him out with 3:53 left? Looks like to this point he hasn't gone to his bench yet.
It's a quick look now, and he will point to Xavier Ford. They will probably check in for Walker. Valela getting set to step up here. Meanwhile, to the free throw line, we'll go Lucas Holden, the sophomore, who shoots at a very impressive clip. Just under 78% for the season. It's a kid who averages 8.5 a contest. It was in double figures the last time they met, scoring 10 points in that win for the Hawks. They couldn't come at a bigger time right now. Timeout, RCC, as they find themselves up by 11. And they know with such a quick trigger and rapid-fire offense from Santiago Canyon, you're up by 11, less than 4 minutes left. No lead is safe.
Well, there's no question about that, but the way this game is played out, I'm not seeing a lot of open looks for three-point range for Santiago Canyon. In this situation, if I'm head coach Todd Dixon, I'm just putting the ball in the hands of Jenkins. Let him create off the dribble. Sometimes we get that drive and kick. If the defense rotates over, you'll get an open spot-up shooter from three. But the one thing the Tigers have done a really good job of is staying at home on the three-point shooters on the perimeter, even on the drives to the basket by the Hawks tonight.
The brass is out, and can they rally RCC to victory in our second of our RCC basketball doubleheader? Tough sledding earlier for the women who lost to Irvine Valley. However, the men trying to get it done, and Holden converts both from the charity stripe to draw within 10. He'll go to the bench, and Agba will check back in with carrying 4 personal fouls. And they'll extend the defensive pressure to full court. And Davis with the turnover. Good steals. It's intercepted by Araujo. Jenkins on the kick. Vilela for 3. And he cans it. Baseline triple is good. We said no lead is safe. And now it's down to 7.
And Jenkins did exactly what I thought he would do. The drive and kick. Penetrate, get the open look for 3, and start firing away.
It's a test of composure and how they can manage this game, Riverside City. Vance on the ball fake, drives the lane, stripped, and Vilela just a pesky nuisance defensively. Trying to reset here. Looks for Goodlow, drives baseline and nowhere to go. 3 minutes left. It's Vilela taking on the big. Good look inside, and Agba couldn't handle it. Might have taken a deflection on the way in. Nevertheless, Tiger ball.
And that's a big turnover here late in the game. These possessions become magnified in a 7-point contest. You've got to come away with points on that type of possession.
And they break the press really well. When will Santiago Canyon resort to a fouling situation? Kept in nicely by Melvin Walker. It's a turnover now, and Goodlow trying to split the defense, lays it up and in. Goodlow makes it 64-59, a 5-point game with 2.5 left. This defense is rattling RCC. Richardson down low is hammered by Vilela, and he'll go to the free throw line.
It's a little old school type foul. You're not going to get a layup on me late in the game. I'm going to put you at the line and make you earn those 2 points.
And if there's anybody who kind of personifies this feisty defense of Santiago Canyon, who, by the way, come in at the best defense in the Orange Empire, it has to be Vilela, who's just been there taking charges, getting strips, taking those fouls. And Richardson will have to earn it, and he misses the front end. Shooting 2, by the way.
Now, Richardson struggling from the stripe this season, only shooting 52%. So you got the right guy at the line if you're the Hawks.
He gets it to go. And Jenkins will let it roll out. Every second counts. They can strike lightning quick, especially behind him. Jenkins to the hole. Oh my goodness, and one. Antoine Jenkins. Showtime, baby. Unbelievable. And he paid the price, but what a drive.
Yeah, he collided with Xavier Ford. Both those players hit the hardwood. You could hear the thud from way up here or up high right at center court. And Jenkins going to have to take a slow walk toward the mid-stripe to shake the cobwebs out. There's a good look at number 11, who's been a terrific performer all season long for Santiago Canyon.
Immense could be a way to put it.
Now, wait a minute.
Deceptive here. Are they going to count that? There's some discrepancy here, so the basket will not count. Well, that's a big decision from the referee. So shooting 2. Well, presumably, actually, this would be a 1-and-1.
Well, they did actually count it, I believe, unless if I'm looking at the officials correctly. So this should be just a one-shot foul.
Yeah, you're right. PA announcer saying contrary to that, so he completes the three-point play and draws them to within 3. Some confusion, but got it all figured out. Full court press continues. Araujo gets a hand in and a steal. Big steal at that. And a chance now for the Hawks to tie it up. 2 minutes left. Down low, it's Agba to the rim and good. This is pure courage right now.
Well, that was a violation. Richardson had taken the ball and stepped inbounds and stepped out of bounds.
Now and he's lost control. Walker, he's tied up. It's going to be jump ball, and the possession arrow favors Santiago Canyon.
Boy, what a hectic finish. RCC coming apart at the seams late in the game.
The referees just want to talk it over. 1:41 left. Talk about indecisive. Their nerves perhaps getting the best of it, but Santiago Canyon, they look to be down and out. You know, you and I were talking about it. You cannot count them out. Down by 10 with just under 4 minutes left. So timeout on the floor. RCC will discuss. They don't want to let this one slip through their fingers.
Well, they're pretty close to doing just that. But you would expect a team that's 24-1 to not have any quit in them. But I'm surprised at the very poor ball handling we're seeing late in the game from RCC. A lot of bad passes and really poor turnovers have allowed the Hawks to get back in this one.
Now they've rectified matters. They only turned it over at just over 13 per contest, but kind of plagued by some tough turnovers. Had 10 at halftime. Just haven't taken good care enough of the ball, so they put themselves in a precarious situation here. Only up by 1. And they were comfortably out in front just by 10 by just a mere 3 minutes ago. We'll see how they adjust if they can see this one out.
Let's give a lot of credit to the Hawks for forcing those turnovers. I think the other thing I'm noticing too, the Tigers seem to be trying to break the press along the sidelines. You got to try to keep that ball toward the middle part of the floor. Keep yourself away from those errant passes along the sidelines. Multiple turnovers late in the game.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jeff. And it is a Hawks team that forces 16 turnovers from the opposition. That's good enough for second best in Orange Empire. So there's a method to their success, that's for sure. It's not just all about getting it done on the offensive end. They have dug in their heels, and that with Agba playing with 4 fouls out there on the floor, and they will inbound with 1:41. Well within striking distance. Garrity down low, Araujo with the left, and it's a Hawk lead. What a run this has been from Santiago Canyon.
Well, the Tigers made a mistake. They tried to double team Jenkins on the perimeter and left the other teammate wide open underneath the basket for an easy deuce.
Melvin Walker to the rim, and it won't drop. And he'll shoot some free throws, and it will be big free throws for Melvin Walker, who's also playing with 4 personal fouls. And up steps the third best free throw shooter in the Orange Empire.
80% from the stripe this season, so that's the guy you want at the line for Riverside City College.
Quick timeout. Well, Matthews talking specifically to Sammy Richardson. He's so demonstrative here, but if anybody's been in this type of situation before, it had to be Philip Matthews. Maybe remember him as a head coach or an assistant coach to Ben Howland for a few years at UCLA, and then former head coach at the University of San Francisco as well. Walker ties it up.
45 years of coaching experience for Matthews overall. His 5th season here at RCC.
son, of course, played at Cal and Gonzaga, now playing overseas in Italy. Jordan, and of course, his younger son, Jonah, starring at USC right now for the Trojans as Walker hits both to restore the lead for the Tigers. The ball literally is in Santiago Canyon's court. And here we go. Under a minute left. Who's going to blink first? Pelela looking for the high pick. Crosses up on Richardson. Too strong. Tipped by Holden and controlled by Davis. That is a huge tip. And good control from Amir Davis. And about 15 seconds between shot clock and game clock, and they're tied up once again. And it's going to be the possession arrow will be favoring Riverside City.
And Jenkins with a push at the end of that play. He's fortunate he didn't get a technical foul called on him. That's really an ill-timed tee or ill-timed technical in this situation.
The referee will sort it out. And that was the indicator originally, jump ball. So both teams in the bonus, the double bonus. 10 team fouls against RCC. They've come storming back here, Santiago Canyon, trying to complete mission impossible. RCC up by 1. 18 seconds left on the shot clock. 34.2 left in the game. Looking for their 5th consecutive win against the Tigers. And this would really be a huge shakeup in the Orange Empire. If Riverside City could claim the victory, they would move to 13-2, and Santiago Canyon would drop to 12-2. However, they would have one more game to play than RCC.
Now, RCC's final game will be on the 19th against Fullerton. The 2 games left for Santiago Canyon will be on the 19th at home against Santa Ana and the 21st, which is a Friday, at Irvine Valley.
That's going to be a tough one. Irvine Valley, no slouch as well. Currently 5th in the OEC. With a 16-9 record, despite only being 6-7 in conference play. Interesting to see as a referee will iron things out with the scorer's table. Now, initially the call appeared to be jump ball, but as Jeff mentioned, it might be a technical foul against Jenkins.
Yeah, they did call a technical foul on Antoine Jenkins, so the officials did see that push right at the end after the jump ball call. So this is a huge call against the Hawks.
So Walker will step up. Not the time when you want that technical, uncharacteristic of Santiago Canyon, who have really held their nerve making this miraculous comeback. So a 2-point lead, and free throws coming up for Melvin Walker because of the bonus situation. In the double bonus, or rather single bonus, and he puts it home.
And let's make sure we give the officials credit, because that is the right call. I saw Jenkins give that shove after the whistle had blown and the jump ball was called. So in spite of the fact it goes against the Hawks, that was the correct call.
So 2 free throws, good 3-point game. Walker is fouled by Araujo, is forced to foul. It was a quick one. Still 32.1 left in it. So it's going to go against Paulo Araujo. And Walker getting it done for the charity stripe. Really flustered by that full court press. Late in the second half here, but no question about being unflappable from the charity stripe here, Melvin Walker. I like that nerve from such a young player, a freshman, showing some grit.
Local product too, JW North High School here in Riverside.
I was going to say, career high of 25 points in December against Golden West, and he scored in double figures 11 times this season. Cans them both. 5-point game. Not insurmountable by any stretch for Santiago Canyon. Jenkins looking to hit quick. Hoists it up from long range. Off the glass and in. What a shot. And I'll tell you what, he won't admit it, but he may have called that one.
How do you shoot a straightaway three and bank it in? That's overshooting it.
Nevertheless, Antoine Jenkins can do nothing wrong. Cuts the lead to 2 with 25.9 left in this one. You know, we were talking about it, and we want to say we're prophetic or Nostradamus by any stretch, but when the lead was as big as it was and it looked as though Santiago Canyon was going to run away with it, we were talking about it. Hey, this could come down to the wire, and that's exactly what we've got.
And the point we made earlier in the game is it could come down to free throw shooting, because in this situation, I would expect the Hawks to start committing fouls and force the Tigers to earn this victory at the 15-foot line.
Well, that's where they've made a living tonight for Riverside City, looking to extend their record to 18-9. So good in conference play. They've found another gear in 2020. It's been a very happy new year for Philip Matthews and co. Can they keep the good times rolling with, you'd have to say, would be the upset of the season for them? They've beaten some very good teams this year, but this would be the best. Still plenty of time left as Davis will inbound against this full court pressure. Walker in possession now. Closed down by Valela. And push it up now. Valela will foul Xavier Ford. He's a 65% free throw shooter. He's going to have to earn it.
He's going to have to make both of these, because if you split them, it's a three-point game. So the pressure is usually on the first free throw. If you can make the first one, makes you a little bit more relaxed as a free throw shooter for number 2.
They've been absolutely ice cold. A team that's not noted for their free throw shooting, as you mentioned throughout the broadcast tonight here. 67.5%, 5th in the OEC. But down the stretch, they've made them count, and this to make it a 2-possession game, and it does. So 4-point lead, 73-69, under 15 seconds left for Antoine Jenkins and company on the high pick. Garrity for 3. Too long, and rebounded by Keelan Vance, who's wrapped up immediately by Valela. And that may do it.
Well, that was terrific defense by the Tigers, who forced Jenkins to get rid of the ball. Now, what the officials are discussing here is after the rebound, whether or not there was an elbow that was swung, and evidently there was not. So instead of calling a foul, they're going to call a jump ball.
If that's the case, the Riverside City will see Santiago Canyon. It's Riverside City ball. That initial jump ball last time was turned into a technical, so that didn't alter the possession arrow. So it is RCC ball with 6.4 left and a 4-point ball game here in the Inland Empire. My goodness, what a night. It's going to end in climactic fashion. You never say never with these visiting Hawks who've made the possible out of the impossible. It may be a bridge too far, but if anybody can do it, it's this hot shooting Hawk outfit. We'll see what they have left in the final seconds. Antoine Jenkins was vociferous in his protest to the referee that's saying it's our ball in the jump ball, but after that technical foul, it wiped aside the exchange on the possession arrow, so possession will stay with Riverside City. Not boring.
Well, when this was a 10-point game, you brought up a great point. They could get back in this game easily. That being the Hawks, they were able to do that and took a game that we thought was over at that point, about 3 minutes to go, and turned it into a barn burn.
So Tigers ball, 6.4 left. Up by 4. And Valela wrapping up Keelan Vance. Just about 2 ticks take it off the clock with 4.5 left in the game, and Vance will step up. He's a 74% free throw shooter. Well, they're congratulating and high-fiving. Both teams well into the double bonus. So shooting 2 will be Keelan Vance.
I don't see Reggie Miller anywhere, so I pretty much think this one's over.
Well, yeah.
8 points in about 7 seconds.
Who knows?
Back in the 90s.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah, Spike Lee had to bear witness to that one at the Garden.
Courtside seat for that.
And up steps Keelan Vance, 28 points, a career high and 4 rebounds last month at Fullerton. Not much since, just 10 points since that game, but he cans it when it counts. Still a 2-possession game with 4.5 left. 74-59. Jenkins will have to be quick. Throws up the runner, and it's good, but it's late. And not enough in the end. He gets the triple to go. It was courageous, but in the end, RCC may have just seen it out. There appears to be some discrepancy on the shot clock here, or excuse me, the game clock. They're going to pull them back out. Game is not over. There's a half a second left after that three-pointer. It's a 2-point game. They're not out of the woods yet.
Well, that actually is enough time if Santiago Canyon can steal the ball and get a shot off. Anything from 3 points and under is a tip situation, but I would imagine all you got to do is throw the ball off his legs and this one should be over.
They thought it might have been too late. All they have to do is inbound it. Foul away from the ball. Jenkins brings down Walker.
You know what? That's not a bad foul because you don't get rid of any time. It puts the Tigers at the line. Now, if he makes both free throws, it's a moot point. But the alternative is you inbound and the game is over. So not a bad foul in that situation.
I'm just hoping he misses one. If he does, it's within the realm of possibility. Good strategy, you'd have to say. Todd Dixon, I'll tell you what, nothing he misses at all. And that's why he's been around for so long. That's why they tapped him up from El Toro High School, where he was so successful, winning so many league titles. So a 3-point game here, one more, and it's game over. Walker, he has just been absolutely ruthless from the free throw line. He's one away. And that's going to do it. Melvin Walker ices the game. It's a 4-point contest with half a second left. Jenkins throws it up. It won't matter. And 76-72, one of the upsets of the season for RCC.
And the biggest win of the season for the Tigers. Loved the way they controlled the tempo of this game, kept it low scoring, prevented the Hawks from getting off a lot of three-point shots. So I think it's the defense the biggest reason that RCC is going to get their 18th win of the year.
And they held the league's most lethal offense to 23 points below their average. They got it done defensively. The postseason is coming up around the corner, and you look at them, they've won 7 of their last 8. They are peaking at just the right time.
And that's exactly what you want. You want to play your best basketball the second half of the season. More importantly, you beat the team that's in first place. Sets up a good closing week for both of these schools. Again, keep in mind, RCC with 1 game left, and Santiago Canyon with 2.
So RCC does what just one other school has done this entire season, beat Santiago Canyon, who dropped to 24-2, 12-2 in conference play. Meanwhile, Riverside City right now moves to 18-9, 13-2 in conference, and will take over possession of first place for now in terms of victories. However, one more game to play in the Orange Empire for the Hawks as they get set, of course, for a big clash against Fullerton coming up on Wednesday. It was a lot of fun tonight, my friend.
Absolutely. What a great game. And top 2 teams in the conference, 4-point finish. Nip and tuck throughout. Of course, it was a 10-point game to the 3-minute mark late in the game. And then, of course, you would expect a team like the Hawks to not quit. got their way back into it, but they wind up falling short.
So once again, the final score brings a close to our doubleheader here on Riverside TV. It's RCC winning out 76-72 on behalf of the entire crew and all the good people here in the Inland Empire and my partner, Jeff Tolcher. It was a blast. Until next time, this is Christian Miles saying good night from Riverside City College.